All right, welcome to another episode of the Fat Boy Fadeaway Sports Podcast, special edition, Game 5 NBA reaction. Tyler, it's pretty easy to do these things when the games are good like this.
Yeah, a real blowjob by the Suns, that's for sure. Really blew it.
Man,
Thought I had it going all home games. And
I know, I was thinking about you too. It was funny. Going into today's game, I wasn't thinking much about, I was excited for it. It was kind of exciting for me because it wasn't a LeBron. It wasn't I don't know, it was just kind of different. So I was excited for it. I was working today. I ran into a few kids that I coach and go to school with. We were talking about the game, got me a little bit more fired up for it a little bit. Just hearing their opinions where I'm like, that's terrible. That's a terrible take. Like,
you don't know what you're talking about, kid.
But just I don't know. I was pumped up for the game. A Milwaukee Phoenix game. Who knew? But yeah, I just thought. What was your initial thoughts of the game?
I just felt like Drew Holiday played the best game of his short Bucks career. It was just a good game. The Suns, I felt like, just blew it. They came out in that second quarter and had nothing, and they let them back in the game, and
they got off to such a hot start. I mean, they were up 32-16 at the first, and going into the first quarter too. If we can backtrack a little bit, my first thoughts were, Lopez is unplayable. He was horrible.
He was getting horrible of his pick and rolls.
It was that and the turnovers. He kept getting the ball stolen from it. He was way late on blocks. So immediately I thought him, but again, Phoenix just has a way of getting off to a hot start. I don't know if it's and Giannis didn't even sub out this game. I definitely was looking for that.
He didn't have to tinkle out.
He must have been well hydrated, not as anxious.
Yeah,
I don't know. I found that kind of interesting in the game. I wanted to bring back to the first quarter because I kind of wanted to bring up a play I thought was interesting. Giannis, the foul was called earlier on Tucker. I think Paul, he gets fouled, getting thrown out of bounds or something like that. And then the ball gets thrown ahead to Booker, but they can't hear anything because of the crowd. And Giannis, I thought he took out Booker pretty good on that dunk attempt that never counted. Did you see that play?
Yeah, I saw it. I was eating dinner and I had the volume down, and I was like, that looks like a flagrant one at minimum. He didn't even come near the ball. And Booker went down pretty hard, and then all of a sudden there was no points on the board. I was confused because I had no volume, and I was just like, this is a weird play.
I don't know. It just seemed weird to me that they didn't call a flagrant there. It just seems like that would be a flagrant 90% of the time at most. Even though that wasn't the call on the floor, it was the play call before that. I don't know. That just stood out. That just stood out to me. I also thought the Bucks got off to a bad start because Holiday got in foul trouble. He made his first two shots, but then he gets the two fouls early on, and that kind of that set the tempo for that second part of the first quarter there. And when you get Crowder getting 10 points in the first quarter,
yeah, he couldn't hit a three after the first quarter, but that first quarter he was.
He was.
The whole Suns were going the first quarter.
What did you think of Paul though? Early on, we talked about it. You came by the house yesterday. We talked about Paul. You're like, hey, you didn't mention enough in the podcast, which I rightfully didn't. His injury the last time, he kind of looked a little down. So I was kind of looking forward early on. What did you think of him early on?
He played better. He could get by Holiday a little better, but Holiday still makes it so difficult to have to start their offense so high up.
Is he just old and we're making an excuse for him?
I don't want to say that because he tore him up the first two.
He just doesn't look the same to me. If I'm being honest with you, he doesn't look the same as he did the first two games.
Well, I think Holiday's is doing a great job on him.
He has.
But I do think he's a little banged up. I think there's something that he's still hitting shots though. That's the thing. I don't know.
I
guess maybe we are making excuses.
I was gonna get into it later in the game. I might as well bring it up now. It's I feel like I don't want to hate on this guy because he has moments, but I feel like Cam Payne plays a Jared Jack type role in the old Warriors days where I'm he does things at times where you're he's pretty good, but it's why is he so involved in the offense? That's why it makes me think Paul's hurt is they're running things for Payne at times and Paul's kind of sitting away from the ball at times. I don't know. Doesn't it have that feel that Jared Jack early Curry years?
I'd say Jack was more effective than Payne. Payne doesn't do much of anything. He can't finish around the hoop. He had that one game
But they're using him the same as I guess.
Yeah. They definitely like put him up and Paul will sit in the corner and do like it doesn't make sense. Maybe it's to get Holiday away from the ball.
And Payne has his moments, but it's like his floppy at times gets a little irritating. But
I don't think he's very good. I don't know he's just quick.
What do you think of his shot? I like his shot. His shot's he has one of the more interesting shots of the whole game.
I never think it's going in when he lets it go. I can tell you that about his shot.
So Suns we talked about the Suns they get out to the big lead early in the first quarter. Giannis, he's playing through it. Yeah, Holiday gets in foul trouble. Middleton's kind of doing Middleton things.
Cruising.
But the Suns just get off to such a hot shooting start. But then the script literally flips in the second quarter. And I think what do I have? The Bucks end up outscoring them 43-24 in the second quarter. So they end up taking the lead by 3 points. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the second quarter there.
They came back. They were down 16 going into the second quarter, and they came back and tied it up in like the first 3 minutes and a half or 4.5 minutes. It was like no time went off the clock, and it was all of a sudden tied. Like you got to get Torrey Craig out of this ball game. He played like 5 minutes, took 4 shots, 3.
He had a big three.
Yeah, he was 1 for 3, but he's so lucky. You don't even have to guard him.
Is he from Boston College randomly? Our boy he's our finals guy that we're backing him now. Bobby Portis. Ever since you called him a psychopath, I feel like
he is a guy now.
He played well.
He played that great second quarter. He was a big part of that run.
Man, him and Connington. Let me see what their point total was. Like, let's just see. I know they scored over 25 points, I believe, together.
But
yeah. Well, Portis ended up with 9, Connington 14. So, so exactly 23 points right there. So pretty good outing for both of them on the bench. So, I mean, I love how the Bucks literally are only playing 7 guys. Teague is unplayable at this point.
How many guys are the Suns playing? 7, maybe 8.
I think the Suns played 8. They played. Craig got 9, so I guess they're playing 7 too. Johnson played 22, Payne 15. Ayton played the most minutes today at 45. What do you think of our guy Ayton? Our guy at Savage is a little tough on him. What do you think?
Really. I mean, I tweeted almost the same thing. I said once he gets that max money deal, I don't know if he's going to be like. You're like now you expect him to do more, and I don't know if he can do more. So like he's one of those guys that once the money's not right, it is like value goes down.
And I kind of feel like with you, like it's kind of funny that he was talking about Ayton, like he even tweeted out before. He's like, I'm only talking about Ayton this game.
I saw that.
And I always think about you because you're an Arizona Wildcats fan. Yeah, he only played 1 year there, right? Only 1 year, I believe.
He got Sean Miller fired, so he did a good job taking money from Sean Miller. That was a good job.
So you got the Sean Miller money there. You got the Arizona. So you you were kind of a little invested in him a little bit, I felt like. So I'm just kind of curious. He's kind of a little hard on him. What do you think of his game? Let me let you go first, and I'll make my thoughts on Ayton. Because he plays a critical role in this series if the Suns have any chance at winning. And we'll get into Booker and him why, but let's just get your thoughts on Ayton.
I love him. I think he has like what he does for a team. I think he plays good defense. And he's one of those guys who doesn't get blocks, but he's always contesting shots at the rim to like stay out of foul trouble. I feel like he always has his hands up. He's never he gets some fouls, obviously. He's a big guy. But I love the way he plays defense. Like he's vertical. He's not trying to swat balls, but he doesn't swat anything really. He doesn't block shots, but he's there.
Yeah, that's kind of a weakness of his. I'm starting to notice. But
he's there. Like contesting.
He is there.
He's almost like even better. Like don't foul. Don't be in foul trouble all the time. I think he has more offensive game than they're letting him. Just give him the one to block when he has PJ Tucker on. I mean, he has a half a foot on him. And he has good touch. That one-handed shot he made in the first quarter, like where he just sort of guided it in, Paul threw it up to him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he has more than they're giving him, but at the same time, he's 22 and has never showed it. So I don't know if the NBA Finals is the right time to.
I mean, he ends up with a good game. I mean, 20 points, plus 6, 10 rebounds, 6 of 6 free throws. He makes his free throws. He's like 15 of 16 in the series. So he's the opposite of Giannis in that regard. But the thing, if I'm going to be counterpoint you, right, just for the sake of it, he doesn't seem like he has much of a. He doesn't feel confident inside 8 feet with a good solid move to me yet. Like he really likes that 10 to 12 foot jumper. Like that to me, that's his favorite shot of the whole court. and people are really have to set him up still at this point of his career. Maybe you're right. Maybe the Suns haven't given him like free reign with post up and stuff. But if they're gonna win, he's gonna have to play a little bit better in some of the regards. Like he ended up with the points, but it's got to be more. It's got to be. And let's get into this too. With the Suns, because they end up losing. They're down 3-2 now. They lose the home court advantage, right? It's a killer, right? You said it. It's a home series. Now it's at this point, the Bucks have just a massive advantage going back home. I feel like the Bucks have kind of cracked the code a little bit. But the Suns really only have one scorer that creates offense. Paul right now doesn't feel the same to me. So if that's, Ayton's got to give him something else. So what do you think of Booker? he plays well tonight. He plays another good game, but he still misses a few shots where you're like, 12 feet. They in and out on him a few times there. He commits stupid fouls. That's the thing.
I love the way he plays defense, though. He plays like he's in you.
He's not irrational at times.
Yeah, sometimes a little too physical with the holding and like.
Well, it's understanding the moment. Like if you have this amount of fouls, you gotta sometimes not be as it. Yeah, that's all I.
Yeah, he's young as well. Like
he's
gonna make some. But you're in the finals. You're gonna be held to a high. So
he's still racking up
making stupid plays. But offensively, he was unreal. You're gonna miss 12-foot jumpers sometimes when you're taking 25 shots a game. Like,
this is my point about Booker that I want you to kind of answer. And for anybody out there, like, how do the Bucks have cracked the code because the Suns are basically Booker or bust. Tonight he goes 17 of 33, so he gets up with 40 points, good percentage, not bad. 2 of 4 of 3, so he's the mid-range king. He took over Kawhi Leonard now as the mid-range guy. But with that being a pretty good game, but it's easy now for the Bucks to say it's him or bust, right? Like, come on, we all played on teams where there's one guy and Paul doesn't look the same, and then the next best shots are Ayton and Cameron Payne. It's like, I don't know.
They got to get Mikal Bridges more involved.
Yeah,
I don't get why he's only getting 5 shots. I think he went like 5 of 5, 5 of 6, or something. Do you have the stat right there?
Yeah, he did. Let's see. He ended up going 5 for 6. Yeah, he was 5 for 5 at one point, 13 points plus 5. At halftime, he was 3 for 3, but he didn't take any really big shots. He's not aggressive enough at all. He has a lot of Harrison Barnes in him at moments.
Yeah, that's a good comp.
Like where you're like, well, dude, like you're actually not that bad. Just kind of play with a little bit more urgency.
Have a little more confidence in your offensive game.
And when he does, like Barnes had that at moments. Remember like that first series against the Rockets in 2015? Like he ran
against the Spurs, wasn't it?
Points in the fourth quarter, and like against Memphis, he was good against Randolph and the bigs there. I thought like, he has moments of showing up more so than Bridges is obviously at this point, but I think Bridges is more capable too than that too.
Yeah. But
defensively, he gets abused a lot.
Who, Bridges?
Yeah.
He's getting abused by Middleton, but Middleton's a tough cover because he's so damn big. Does Middleton remind you of Paul Pierce at all? I feel like they're almost like they both.
That's a good comparison. That's not bad at all.
They can go for huge games, and they're big.
Casey on that one. He's the Paul Pierce.
Is that what Casey said?
Casey's the Paul Pierce lever. We got to get his thoughts on that.
Yeah. But they get to their spots and they're big and they can hit the mid range and they're good from the line, and I feel like they play pretty similarly. I'd say Paul Pierce is better.
Yeah, well, definitely, for sure. But Middleton's surprising me. Like, I didn't expect this from him. Like,
he has more game than I thought. Last year, I was writing him off as like a third guy, a fourth guy.
It's funny. I was thinking about this today. Like, this is just a random story, but I remember being in the hospital 3 years ago, and I was reading this article on Chris Middleton. It's like long article on him. And at that point, I kind of started following his career a little bit. And the last couple of years, he's been good, all-star, but like he felt like the
Bucks won so much they had.
He felt like an Eastern Conference all-star, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. But his mid-range game is legit now. He's figured it out.
He hit that clutch 3 that basically almost iced it.
Yeah, pretty much. But let's get back to Holiday a little bit more. He picks it up even more in the third quarter. And then his play, like the ballsiest play in the finals you can think of, like a 2-on-1 fast break. I don't blame him. The Bucks second free throws anyways, but lobs it up to Giannis. But he could have made a bad throw. Like that. And then
that was a tough catch too by Giannis.
Yeah, Suns score, let's say, you lose the game after that. So, I mean, is that one of the ballsiest plays in the finals? Let's just jump right to it. Is that let's combine Holiday and that play together a little bit here.
I think it's one of the stupidest plays, but it just worked out. So it becomes a intesticle fortitude play. I don't like it was so dumb in the moment. You have,
Ballsiest play ever.
you have 13 seconds. You're up 3 at the time.
Yeah.
You have 3 and you throw some. I mean, Chris Paul could have got a technical for that play. He didn't make any effort at a ball. He basically hit Giannis in the huevos and Giannis finished with his dunk. But yeah, it was a great play. But
That's funny. Hey, I got to go back to the Suns real quick. Out of the bench players, who would you rather have shooting, Payne, Johnson, or Bridges?
Johnson.
Over Bridges. Okay, I like that.
Well, I mean, I think Johnson can create this shot a little more, but just a set 3-pointer, Bridges.
So
who would you rather have?
I'd rather have definitely Bridges. I believe in Bridges out of all those 3 players. Johnson has showed me quite a bit, though. I got to be impressed. The thing I'm not liking about Bridges is he's not like I said, he's not showing any.
He has the Harrison Barnes.
Testicular fortitude. Let's go. Where's that energy, man? Let's go. Show up at times.
Where's mankind when you need him?
You're 3 for 3. You shoot the ball again. Yeah, like you
exactly.
Don't have to worry about anything like that. All right, so Bucks are up 180 at the third quarter. It just kind of had or 190 at the end of the third quarter, and they just make just an unbelievable first, second, and third quarter. Just basically shut the Suns crowd up, which I'm getting a little tired of these ESPN views of these weird views of these interesting people in the crowd.
Guys counting money.
What'd you think of that?
Jeff Van Gundy couldn't get enough.
I know, they were loving it. They were really slurping it up there. I like how they were. I like how Savage was like, yeah, they're counting a little fast. I was like, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way through there. So I got a few questions for you before we got to wrap it up here. We get to the fourth quarter. The Bucks, they end up rebounding. Middleton ends up playing out. Basically, Middleton and Booker kind of go back and forth a little bit for third and fourth quarter, which is fun to watch because they're the 2 perimeter guys on the team. Holiday played well too. Let's not get underestimated. If it wasn't
unreal
in the game, but Middleton they go to more in the clutch. He starts with the ball a lot more in the those in the important possessions. And the Bucks have finally gone to their bread and butter. Middleton, Giannis, pick and roll. Because what are the Suns going to do? I mean, they can't give Giannis that much space. So it's like, who are they going to give a little bit more space to? Middleton. So me and you, even in a rec league thing, we've played it. Like when you have a better guy you're played with on your team, he sets a screen for you. Usually you have a chance to get a decent look if you wanted it. And that's what you get, right?
Yeah, that they just get the wing top of the key open jumper, or like a Giannis 10 feet with 4 feet to work with, Ayton try to guard him, stay in front of him, and he'll draw a foul.
Is he elite?
Who?
Middleton. Like if he wins this, is he elite? Is he an MVP? What is he? Is he a Chauncey Billups type guy?
I mean, sure, I guess.
You know what I mean? Like
I don't think that's elite. That's not elite.
That's what I'm saying. So he doesn't go in that like next level. Yeah, he has to win again.
No, he's in the third. Giannis is the reason for this whole team doing what they're doing. He's spectacular. He gets better every game.
He's the MVP, right? It's an obvious one. If it were,
I think so. If he doesn't, I'd be shocked.
I mean, you can't get the stats he's got up and put out. What kind of stood out to you in this game? What was the play what was kind of like just kind of, I don't know, changed the moment, like just a play that stood out?
It was actually the Drew Holiday like tip out, like someone got a rebound and he just it was at the end of the game. It was a huge play on the offensive glass that I think he hit it out of Booker's hands.
Okay. Yeah.
He just makes these plays. He's so good at doing.
We made that comparison to him on our I think on game 3 pod about with him and my sister, and I was like that's actually a good comparison because my sister isn't she would admit it. She's not unreal offensively. She even admitted on the podcast she's only scored more than 20 points a few times, like in high school, college. And the Holiday has that feel too, right? Like so when you get 25 from Holiday, I mean
you're gonna win. Or you should
win. And Paul, that's what I'm saying. Paul is giving you 11 points. Like Payne's too involved. Paul has to play with like just.
Paul scored more than 11 points tonight.
Tonight he did, but let's see end up how. I want to make sure I get how many
he actually had a decent game tonight if you look at the numbers, but he didn't play as well as his numbers.
He had 21, but I don't know. I guess maybe I was too hard on him. Maybe I was watching too closely. I just thought his impact wasn't the same as.
I'd agree. Yeah. His numbers look better than they were. Performance and stuff.
He started to play better than like when they got desperate at the end.
Who, Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a big wide open three, and then got that little.
That was a foul too. I thought when he got hit there on that. I thought he got hit on that shot too. So
he had 2 threes.
So who do you like for Game 6?
I don't want to be reactionary.
It's a tough series, huh?
I just want the Suns. I don't pick him the Suns. I think Booker's gonna come out and do some crazy stuff. I'm hoping.
If anything,
it's more hopeful than.
You don't trust the Bucks. The Bucks play tight at times.
Yeah, they get it's watertight record.
They get tight at times. And, I mean, they got a great performance from Portis and Connington tonight.
Connington's been good the whole series except for the first games where no one played good.
I made a noted game before, I think earlier in the game. I was like, you got to take this white guy out. He started then ever since I wrote that note, he started playing better.
I could see him turning himself into like a JJ Redick type, like 15 points a game almost. Like,
and he's way better defensively than Redick.
Yeah, but he's probably not the shooter either, though. Like,
no, but I'm just saying, like, you can. It's easier to play him when you're better defensively at the end of the game.
Oh yeah,
and so like, bigger, I think. And he still makes like enough threes at times. So, and he also bricks a lot of threes at times. So yeah. So you like who this? I know you're picking the Suns, but do you think the Bucks really kind of? I mean, they have the advantage, obviously.
I think the Bucks are just a better team now that I've watched them play 5 times. They're so big and more athletic.
And remember, I said earlier. I think we said it earlier. She's like, when you're bigger, and if you just play smarter, you should have the advantage, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're bigger and you're somewhat on the same level of these guys. You should be able to take advantage. And like, I don't think like Saric is a big injury by any chance or anything, but he's like he's better than Kaminsky. And like at times, I think like Ayton, like they don't have anybody else at times to bang against them at all. And like the less bodies you have to go against a guy as good as Giannis, you get worn down in a series like this, right?
Yeah, especially because Giannis is such a bad free throw shooter, and you have Saric with 6 fouls to like work with. It does less easy buckets for him at least. Ayton just has to sort of give it to him because you can't play without Ayton.
We definitely should be smarter though in the betting world. Like we need to bet for Phoenix to win the first quarter next game.
They do get off to a hot start every game.
We need to bet that to win the first quarter at least. And Crowder, I don't think he's going to get that performance. It's all bet. I have a feeling the Bucks might start out a little tight. That's just my thought. Or is it the usual Game 6 where they just destroy him from the beginning? Is it one of those? Is it one of those?
Very easily could be.
If Booker gets ejected, this is a Booker injection game, possibly. This is where Booker's been on the verge all series. He's been on the verge. He's good. Yeah. The refs don't call anything anymore. What the heck?
Yeah, they weren't calling much. Except they started calling. I felt like every call went the Bucks' way in the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. Like Middleton got kind of a cheap 3-and-1. Giannis stepped out of bounds, and they called a foul on Ayton before.
Yeah, I thought the Suns kind of got a bad whistle.
It seemed like every close call went the Bucks' way in the fourth quarter.
That's how I would think too. But the Bucks, to their credit, I mean, they just shot. They were so on fire. They scored 43 points in the second quarter. They scored 36. They scored 36 in the third.
Nothing wrong with 36.
There's nothing. They played like they had sex. They did a lot of things out there. They did well.
They're very excited.
Very excited out there. No, but they just basically blitzed them so much in the middle quarter. They basically were Warriors on them, I felt like. Those middle quarters, right? They just destroyed them. And then at the end of the game, they almost blew it like the Warriors usually do.
Always make it interesting.
And then they came out with a big shot, a foul, and there they go. They finish it out. They got the best player. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna go with the Bucks to finish it off. I think they end up winning by about 4 points. I think they kind of. I don't think they'll blow them out. I think the Suns will show up, and That's just my thought on it. I don't know. We'll see. I think the Suns. I'm hoping the Suns have a little bit of girth in them.
Fight. I thought, it's shocking for me also. I thought these close games would go the Suns' way because of Paul and just better dribblers and wing players.
Middleton's finishing better.
And they just haven't been able to pull them off. The Bucks keep.
In the offensive rebound, they just out rebound them by a lot more too.
Yeah, true.
So I don't know. The Bucks, even though they only out rebounded by 2 today, but their offense. But usually it just feels like they get the bigger position.
All the big rebounds go to LeBron.
Yeah. So all right, so game 6 on Tuesday, right? And then another 3 days off, right? Monday, Tuesday, and then they randomly just go 1 day off, and then back to game 7. So we'll see what happens. So game Tuesday night, me and you will be there for the reaction podcast. It's been a good series. Glad we're doing this. It's been fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Good
So
final.
Yep, Bucks won 123-119. We'll see you guys on the next one. Later.
Peace.